everyone, welcome back to another Stitches and Scribbles video. Today we're going to be comparing two different yarn winders. As many of you know if you watched my podcasts, I have purchased both of these yarn winders in the past couple months and upgraded from my original one, which is a horizontal yarn winder, to this one, which is a vertical yarn winder. So I thought I'd show you the differences and explain a little bit about why I ended up getting the second one. This one was purchased from Amazon. I don't remember the brand name. I do remember that it was the cheapest one I could find because I was looking to just test it out. Didn't really know what specifications I wanted to look for, so this is what I got. When you wind, this little arm moves back and forth to direct the yarn, and the yarn winds around this center column. This one that I got is the Knit Picks brand yarn winder, and you can see when you turn this one, the arm that guides the yarn stays stationary, but this spins kind of like a top to get the angle of the yarn winders. So let's start by doing a sample yarn wind on this one. I'm going to be using I Love This yarn in the color Brights for both of these, so you can see that it's identical. Let's find that yarn end. Whoops, got some yarn barf here. And then we can start winding as soon as I fish out that other end. That seems to be the problem. There we go. Usually I don't get a lot of yarn barf from the I Love This yarn brand, but this one seems to have been wound incorrectly, at least at the very center. The rest of it seems like it's okay. Alright, so to attach it, I like to start with a slip knot that I can easily pull out later. So I make sure that the short end is the flexible end, the one that can be pulled out, and I put it in the notch on the end of the yarn winder and then hook it through that arm by twisting around. I'm going to go ahead and wind this whole skein, or as much as I can fit on the yarn winder, but I'll speed it up in the video. Alright, so now we're already getting to one of the issues I had with this, was that as you get further out, loops of yarn start sliding off of this end. So sometimes when you wind it, it will like jump and a loop of yarn will fall off the edge because it's horizontal. Alright, now we have reached the end of the skein, so I just pull up a couple loops and tuck the end of the yarn in to keep it stable. Then I unhook the end that was attached at the beginning and slide it off. So it looks like this. Okay, couple of pros and cons. I really like how the outside of this yarn ball looks, and if you have like a striped or yarn that is supposed to be caked and has big bold stripes, you'll see all of them from the top. You will with the other style too, but it's not quite as clear. One thing that I don't like about this yarn winder that I actually didn't encounter with this specific yarn, but it might have to do with the humidity levels that we have going on right now. Usually this one gets really staticky, and when it gets staticky, it causes the yarn loops to kind of fly off the end of the yarn winder, making it really hard to wind and hard to keep it together. I also noticed that if I have yarn wound with this yarn winder sitting on my shelf and I move it a couple times or have to rearrange, the outer loops start like falling off the sides like this because of how it's wound from the outside. You can kind of take a whole chunk and it'll just start to fall off like that. So because of that, I started looking for a new yarn winder, which is how I ended up with this one. I saw a lot of really good reviews for it online. So we'll go ahead and find that center pull. I think this one's going to be a challenge too. Let's see if I can get it. Well, not too bad. Got a little bit of a yarn barf there. Find that end. Alright, so you start winding the same way. I like to do that little slip knot, and this one actually has 2 notches across the top, so you lay your yarn across. If the tail is pretty long, I try to tuck it in on the top, and you wrap your yarn through the arm on the other side just like before. Then you start to turn, and you can see that kind of top motion starting. I'm going to go ahead and wind the whole ball just like I did with the other one so that you can see the finished results. Alright, and just like with the other one, I find a couple loops and push the end of the yarn tail through to hold it steady. Then I pop off that top and slide it off. So, benefits of this style. First of all, even if this one gets really staticky, the static doesn't cause the yarn to fall off of the top because it's vertical. Excuse me. I think I just pulled up a bunch of dust in my apartment from pulling out all of my yarn. But anyway, if there's static, it doesn't cause the loops to fall off, which means that even if the yarn does get staticky while winding, it's not going to go anywhere. Second thing that this one does is it kind of creates a crisscross pattern on the outside, which looks really cool if you have shorter stripes in your yarn, because you'll see all the colors from the edge as well as from the top. The other benefit, it's not as clear with this set, but the vertical yarn winder I find ends up a lot more compact when it's wound than in the vertical one. Maybe if I stick them over there. Of course, I just pulled the horizontal one apart, but it ends up a lot more compact. So if you're debating getting a yarn winder, I recommend looking for one that has this design, kind of the top motion, mostly vertical, instead of a horizontal one. These ended up being not that much of a difference in price. I think the Knit Picks one was like between 30 and 40, and this one was like 25 to 30, I think. It wasn't a huge difference, so go ahead and get a nicer one with the vertical design, and I recommend the Knit Picks one if you're looking for a brand specifically. I did purchase the Knit Picks one through Amazon, so the price could be different on the actual Knit Picks website versus the Amazon price. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you have a yarn winder that you prefer, if there's a style that you prefer, either one of these two, or if there's another one that I don't know about yet. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!